Hey guys, welcome back to Engage. This is Josue Davi hosting with Kate Jones, and our guest today is a very special one, particularly even to us here, as we've had personal relationships with him back in the day. Mitch Bourbonniere has devoted much of his career and personal time mentoring, counseling, and supporting at-risk youth to help them develop self-esteem, confidence, empathy, and social skills. Emphasizing the value of good citizenship, volunteerism, and positive activism, he helps people make positive changes in their lives. He is a founding member of the original Bear Clan Patrol, and he spends his time volunteering with OPK Manitoba, as well as many other organizations within our community. Mitch, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Josh. And Caden, it's great to be with you guys today.
Very great to get in touch with you. It's been a long time. I actually told my mother we were doing this interview, and she has extended greetings and gratitude to you.
She is the mama bear. So I love it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Just to kind of start off, would you want to go back to sort of your initiation into this kind of work, how you found yourself getting into these kind of community-driven fields?
Yeah, I'll try to be brief, but I'm going to go way back, and I'm going to go back to where I was born and where I come from. So I was born in St. Boniface, and this would have been in the early 1960s. And I actually was born with pretty severe learning disabilities and eventually some pretty significant behavioral issues. I had a really, really challenging early life in terms of, just getting along and, regulating my emotions and dealing with school and peers. And, the first 12, 13, 14 years of my life were super difficult for a number of reasons, including some abuse issues that I had experienced. And so I was a pretty angry young guy, and I probably could have gone in any direction, going into those teen years. But it was actually finding a place called Rossbrook House, which is still around. It's been around for about 45 years now. And I ended up there, and, hearing other kids' stories really made me reflect upon my own story. And then, eventually becoming a volunteer through Rossbrook House and helping others really helped me. And it was good medicine to become a helper. And that's kind of how I healed and am healing still today. And I just kind of found one volunteer opportunity after another over the years, including, as you mentioned, Bear Clan, Mama Bear Clan, and OPK, Drag the Red, just all different kinds of community groups that I've been involved in. And it led me to working with youth and being a mentor and doing that kind of work. So it's been a glorious ride. I'm about 40 years into it at this point. I just turned 58, but I still feel I got a lot of gas in the tank, and I'm just going to keep going.
Definitely.
Nice.
Love to hear it.
Yeah. So you mentioned coming from a place of a lot of personal experience. I think that that's really important for youth. And you mentioned as well, with these organizations that you've become involved with along the way. I'm just curious exactly like which organizations you're currently working with and what your role is there.
Sure. I spend Monday, Wednesday, Fridays with Mount Carmel Clinic in a program where we support previously unsheltered homeless folks and they get their own place. And then we help them because many of them do experience or have experienced trauma, mental illness, and addiction. So they need lots of support early in maintaining their home. And so we help with that. And I do on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm with the Downtown Community Safety Partnership. And it's much the same. We go out and make relationship with our unsheltered brothers and sisters on the street and make plans with them and be really, really supportive to them so that if and when they ask for that help, we're there and ready to give it to them. Over and above that, I do something called action therapy, which supports kids that have come through the CFS system. And I do another program, OPK, with kids that are involved in the criminal justice system. We do a Main Street walk, clean up, feed our relatives on Tuesday and Thursday mornings. I do Mama Bear Clan Wednesday evenings. We walk in the North End looking after folks. And then overall evenings, weekends, I'm supporting and mentoring the youth I work with.
That's really amazing. That's really awesome. And coming from a place of knowing you as a youth and now hearing about the broader aspect of what you're doing on the grand scheme, it's really great to reconnect in this kind of way. I was curious, after doing this work for so long, if you've noticed an impact that it's had on yourself and or any other members of the community that you have a relationship with.
Well, I've never faltered. Like, I've just had a lot of energy. And, like people often ask me, like, don't you burn out? Like, don't you know? And there is a lot of stress because you see a lot of, misery, and there's a lot of really heartbreaking stories. But then there's also a lot of resiliency. There's a lot of folks that, end up doing well. And that really makes up for the hard stories, is the stories of triumph and overcoming. So like, I've never, I don't know what burnout is. Like, I've never, like I from time to time I do get tired or frustrated or whatnot, but mostly every day I just love what I do, and I'm happy to leave the house and go to work, which I do pretty much every day of my life.
Nice. No, definitely hear that. I can hear and see just in the community how it can just take a toll on us. But I think as someone myself who comes from some personal experience, I can relate to you with just having a high energy and having a high passion to be able to provide some of these experiences with youth. Winnipeg is such a community-driven city. I'm sure that obviously after your years of working in the city, you've had the pleasure of experiencing that. Tell me what that's like, and perhaps why Winnipeg and this community is so important to you. What keeps you kind of coming back into the community of Winnipeg?
Well, I don't know if I'm rare or not, but I actually love my city, and I love my province, and I love the people. And I think it's because we're a small city, just big enough for me, man. I could be anywhere in half an hour, and I'm up and down Main, and I'm up and down St. Mary's Road, and, into St. Boniface, St. Vital, North End, Elmwood, like, all around in the inner city. And I just meet such great people, and we're so diverse, and we have a beautiful Indigenous community in Winnipeg and in Manitoba. And I've been just so blessed to be immersed in the Indigenous culture and community. So that has been wonderful. We have lots of new Canadians. We're not wealthy folks here in Winnipeg, and we kind of just we're real. That's how I see it. And we got to be resilient. Like, some of those winters are pretty tough to go through. And I think just kind of being a small city, a big town in the middle of the prairies, kind of on an island, not too big and super diverse, it's perfect for me. Like, I would never want to live anywhere else, nor could I at this point. Like, I have I just have all my networks, all my people established here, and I would flounder anywhere else.
Definitely understand. It's been an interesting year for not only our own community, but obviously the entire globe has experienced this pandemic over the past couple years now. And I was curious, when that first sort of started to happen, our first lockdowns, what were you working on primarily at that time, and how was that work affected?
Well, just before COVID hit in March of 2020, I was teaching university. I was doing action therapy. I was working my jobs. I was going up north. I had a gig up in Fox Lake twice a month. The Cree people up there are awesome. And basically within, it all unraveled really, really quickly in mid-March. And by the end of March, I could not do any of the work I had been doing. Like, everything stopped. I wasn't going up north. I wasn't teaching at the university. I wasn't doing action therapy. I wasn't working any of my jobs. And so for about 20 minutes, I was unemployed with no income and nothing to do with all this energy. And, the phone started to ring, and there was a whole bunch of new opportunities because of the pandemic, in terms of making sure mental health, mental wellness checks were being done, making sure people had food, that kind of thing. So I just kind of shape shifted. That's when Mount Carmel picked me up. That's when the Downtown Community Safety Partnership got going. So I just kind of pivoted. Like, personally, I had to make a lot of different personal changes, obviously, because we all did with the restrictions and the lockdowns and the pandemic. But I got to tell you guys, it's not, 18 months. There's been 3 pandemics. There's been the virus, right? There's been the coronavirus, the COVID, but there's also been, like, climate change, to me, has been a pandemic. And just the social and racial and the whole people part of things. We watched George Floyd, like, die in front of us on TV, so then we have Black Lives Matter and Indigenous Lives Matter. And then, the graves of the children, were exposed, right? And residential school. And I mean, there's just been it's been crazy. It's been a crazy 18 months. There's been a polarization of people's political views. There's been conflict. We've got people demonstrating at hospitals. It's just become so angry and conflictual. And, there's been a lot of sorrow, and people have died from COVID, and all the residential school triggering, just all the racial stuff and the social stuff. It's been more than a medical pandemic. It's been a societal revolution going on here, and wildfires and fire evacuees, and it just seems our Mother Earth is not doing well. So it's been a crazy time, and that leads to a lot of mental health for people. So I've really shifted into, checking on people, the whole backlash against police, defund the police. There's just been so much going on so many levels that, your head just spins. And I'm just trying to, get up every day and make sure people are protected and alive and fed, so that's basically what I'm doing.
Wow. Yeah. And fully hear you there. That's something me and Josh are passionate about too, is, bringing people together, and as well, getting people informative about the climate crisis going on and stuff like that. So we definitely hear you. I'm interested to hear, because as you're speaking on it, that you're very passionate about these things. What are some of your biggest goals and wishes for the community? What are some of the steps and things that you would take to make things better?
Well, if I had a wish list, I'm hoping we can all be healthy and this virus can be contained and we can carry on. If I had a wish list, I would wish it all of this has brought the earth to our attention and climate change, and we can, work triply hard, quadruply hard on that. But I also, think it's brought mental health and people's well-being to the consciousness of the people too. And for us to all value that as well. Man, I'm a middle child. I just want everybody to get along, And I think kindness and love, and, I don't want to sound too much like a hippie, but I don't see any other way for us to live on this earth other than to be kind to one another. So I hope that comes out of all of this. I'm not sure it will, but I can only do my little piece, and hopefully others do theirs, right?
Gonna get that printed and hang it on my bedroom wall. Look at that every day I wake up. I was curious to get your perspective on this. What is one thing that you think the everyday person can do to support our community and to help break down barriers for others within our community?
Hold the door open for someone, wait with an elderly person at the bus stop, carry someone's groceries, smile, be patient. Just work hard at being a good person in every micro moment. You can get out and volunteer. There's all kinds of groups doing stuff. You can donate. You can donate socks. You can donate food. You can donate furniture. There's lots you can do from your own little corner.
Absolutely. I think there's going to be a lot that people will be able to take away from this episode. Is there any kind of work, obviously, like we were just sort of touching on the pandemic and everything, when it does come to the restrictions of the COVID-19 pandemic, limiting people's work and everything, with restrictions gradually starting to ease up, as it seems, a little bit, is there any type of work that you've not been doing, that you haven't been able to, that you're looking forward to getting back into?
I've mostly kind of quietly done all the work that I'm used to doing. I've just done it really safely. But I think just gathering, I just think, we had a pop-up powwow at Vimy Ridge Park to honor residential school survivors yesterday, and it's just like we had 100 people just show up and gather for a really good cause, and everybody did it in a real safe way. But I think just getting together, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to, to be around, groups of people again.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. Are there any specific needs that some of your organizations might need right now that our viewers can take a listen to and maybe help out with?
Yeah, I'm always looking for household goods, furniture, bottled water. Folks can get a hold of me. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. You just Google my name. I got a website and people can find me. I got a phone number. I've had the same phone number since there's been cell phones. So it's kind of like my, everybody knows my number. So if you think you have something to give away that might be helpful to someone, you can just give me a call.
Okay, sounds awesome. That's perfect. And your website is just mitchbourbonniere.com, right?
That's right. www.mitchbourbonniere.com.
Awesome. And is there any other way that any of your organizations, OPK, or, Bear Clan Patrol, any of them can be donated to? Any like social media links, anything like that?
No, and it's actually Mama Bear I'm with at this point. Like we were all original Bear Clan guys, but a whole bunch of groups kind of emerged out of Bear Clan. So there's lots of different community groups. So at this point, I'm doing Mama Bear.
Gotcha.
But yeah, people can just get a hold of me, and I'll figure out whether, if they do have a monetary donation, whether that's going to Drag the Red or OPK or Mama Bear. We'll figure it out, on a case by case basis with people.
Okay, sweet. And is there any kind of upcoming events that any of your organizations are doing that you'd like to promote, get the word out?
No, I think some of these pop-up powwows we've been having, they're usually on Sunday afternoons. It's just a matter of folks getting on Instagram or Facebook. There's always stuff going on. Like just today, there was a walk for missing and murdered Indigenous men and boys. Like there's stuff going on in Winnipeg all the time. So like just get on the internet, just get on social media, whether it's, like I really use Instagram and Facebook a little bit. So I haven't gotten onto TikTok and those others yet. But if you kind of immerse yourself electronically, there's something going on in Winnipeg every day, especially the weekends. So just show up. Don't feel like you're going to be an outsider. Like, I've seen Indigenous, non-Indigenous, men, women, trans, old, young, suburbs, inner city. Like just everybody can come together at any time for any of these gatherings and causes.
That's perfect. Okay, yeah, that's awesome. To all the viewers, please go and check out mitchbourbonniere.com. Check out social media, obviously, so you can get to know when these events are happening. I think the more people we have going down, the better. And like he said best, it's everyone's allowed to come, and it's just a community-driven place. Mitch, one thing that we like to do before we end our episodes is we like to ask our guests if they had a specific song preference to play on live radio after the episode is aired.
Oh man, that's so awesome! But you caught me here. I wasn't ready for this. Okay, it's a crazy song and a crazy band, and I'm not talking about their politics or anything, but just the song itself gets me crazy and gets me going. I do a lot of walking. I walk with Mama Bear. I walk with OPK. I walk up and down Main Street like every day, greeting my relatives. And so let's play the song Walk by Pantera.
Okay, awesome.
If you can find it.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, Mitch, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Yeah, maybe just play a few seconds of it. It's pretty hardcore.
All right, we'll pass that along.
Thank you, guys. It's been wonderful speaking with you guys today. You sound like you really, really get it. And that makes me really, as an old guy, that makes me feel good that the young people are getting it. So thank you.
Thank you, Mitch. You've set me and many, many members of the community as youth off on great paths. And I think a lot of what my principles and values are today can be traced back to spending time with you at those times in school and all that. So thank you. My mom is very grateful for you as well. It's been amazing having you in this community for so long, doing so much. And thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come and speak to us. This has been amazing.
Thank you for what you guys are doing. And I hope to see you on campus real soon.
Absolutely.
Okay.
100%. Yeah. Have a good afternoon, Mitch.
You too, guys. Take care, buddies.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good one.
Bye.
This has been Kate Jones and Josue Devi with Mitch Bourbonniere on UMFM 101.5. You can catch us again next week, and make sure you tune into our episode from last week, right after this episode. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Peace.